Do record labels still matter? Can an artist still release their music without a record label? Of course they can. But today I want to talk about why I think record labels still matter. In fact, I have 5 things that I think a record label can bring to an independent artist. And these are not just like practical, actual, tangible things like money or access. Some of those things are true, but mostly bigger picture, philosophical things that I think make record labels truly matter today in today's music industry. Let's dive in. A huge shout out to my friends at Infinite Catalog for sponsoring today's video, but more on them in just a little bit. If you're a record label owner, I think it's really important that we meditate on this concept a little bit and that we actually have a basis for why we approach artists and why we want to work with artists. And when we meditate on this subject and we think about the subject about why record labels matter and what we actually bring to the table, it makes us better record labels. It makes us serve our artists better. I think a lot of artists are at this impasse sometimes, whether they should go alone or they should submit their music to a record label. It's a very difficult thing to navigate because sometimes there's the fear of missing out. If I don't sign to this label, maybe they could make me more money than I could make on my own. But on my own, there's a lot of things I can control and do on my own. Well, today I want to talk about why a marriage between an artist and a record label is really special. The first thing is artist validation and confirmation. Well, what is it? I think the context of validation or confirmation comes in the form of a record label validating what an artist has believed in themselves all along, what an artist knows to be true about themselves from the very beginning, that their art is worthwhile and it's meaningful and it's ready to be heard by thousands, if not millions of people. There's also this confirmation that they're on the right track, that they're doing something worthwhile. When a record label hears a demo and is like, this is really good, more people need to hear it. An artist believes that, but deep down they're like super self-conscious and they don't really know if what they're doing is meaningful or sounds good. Can an artist pursue a career without validation? Of course. And that's how they grow in the first place. And a lot of younger artists are getting validation through YouTube views or through TikTok followers. But the truth is that artists really do value and need the unbiased opinion of non-fans. We need the unbiased opinion of non-family members or non-friends. Personally, for me, there's no greater compliment when an artist that I admire or a music industry person compliments or buys my music. It means more than a bunch of fans buying it. I know that's bad. Fans are like the lifeblood of an artist. But when someone from like a big music industry company I see purchase my record on Bandcamp, or like I get an email from an artist that I really respect and they're complimenting my record, that just feels really good. So how does a record label provide validation and confirmation for their artists? Plainly, it's just by agreeing to sign them, saying, I actually believe in this music so much so that I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and you deserve to be on our roster. You deserve to be heard by more people. That's it. That's the validation. That's the confirmation that they're making great art. It doesn't take much because artists are their own worst critics. The second thing that a record label provides, and why I think record labels matter, is that they provide artists with a team and a community. Being part of a record label offers artists an opportunity to be part of something bigger, to be part of other like-minded artists, a supportive team, and a creative community. This sense of belonging can be invaluable to artists, especially the ones who may have previously navigated the music industry alone. They can connect with fellow roster members, share experiences, share equipment. They can collaborate, cross-promote one another, and just foster like an overall environment of growth and creativity. It matters to an artist because label mates are a great way to network. It's a great way to meet people who probably share the same values as them, probably enjoy the same subgenres, the same type of music, the same other artists, the same type of art. They can teach and learn from each other, either explicitly like saying, hey, you should try this, or implicitly just being like, one of my label mates is doing something really awesome on social media, I can learn from that. So how does a record label create community or foster community? How does a record label create a team for the artist? Well, from the team standpoint, one of the things I love about record labels and why I encourage any artist to work with a record label is because it's 1 + 1 = 2. And in some cases, it's 1 + 1 = 3. The record label supporting the artist and advocating for that artist doubles the amount of people who are promoting the artist. Usually it's just the artist themselves, but when a one-person record label signs them, it's now double the amount of people who are working to promote that release. But how does a record label foster a community? This is usually something that happens naturally. Hey, we're on the same label. An artist will tell their friends and fans to check out another artist who is just released a new record who's on their label. But you really do need to foster this. It'll only happen naturally to a certain extent. You need to be active about this. As a record label, you need to introduce your new artists to their fellow label mates. Maybe plan in-person events, perhaps a monthly or quarterly or bi-monthly label get together. At the same time, you should be doing things to constantly lubricate these interactions between the artists on your roster, like sending updates via group text or via email, or creating a private Discord or a private Facebook group just for the people on your label. Number 3 is the knowledge gap. Record labels bridge the knowledge gap for indie artists by offering insights into the complex music industry. But they don't have to be super expert insights. Usually it's just you have experienced something once or twice, and this new artist that you're brought onto your record label has yet to experience that. That's the knowledge gap. It's pretty simple. For example, when I was a younger independent artist, I wanted to make my own CDs. And so I did some DIY options, and then I was releasing an album I was really excited about. And so I found a company called Disc Makers, and I researched how to manufacture CDs and glass masters and putting the artwork together. And I paid the money, and I did the whole process, and I picked the digipack, and I sent them the audio. It was like a big ordeal. I mean, it honestly took me months and lots of money and tons of research, and there wasn't that many like forums or subreddits back then. So I had to do all the legwork. Well, a couple months later, I was working with this band who I was helping record an album, and they were getting ready to make a CD. And so they asked me, you've made a CD before. How do we make a CD? That's the knowledge gap. I was only ahead of them by like 6 months, but I had done all this research, and I could just say, don't worry about it. I've already done the research. I've found the best place, the cheapest options. I know the ideal quantities, blah, blah, blah. So that's the knowledge gap that indie record labels can have and can help artists overcome. And why is this important to artists? Well, it can be so annoying when you're missing such a simple piece of the puzzle and you're trying to do your research, but it's super nuanced, it's super specific. Nobody can really answer the question exactly. You want to talk to a human, you can't get anybody on the phone. This little knowledge gap about where do I press vinyl? Should I hire a publicist? Really simple questions to a record label who's done it once or twice before. But for an artist, it's going to be really insurmountable and just super annoying that they can't find the answers they want. So for you as a record label, find out what information your new artists are missing. Ask them about their expectations and their fears and some of the obstacles they're facing. Sign artists and work with artists that you can actually help. Work with artists that knowledge gap is ideal. You don't want a knowledge gap that's way too big, but you also don't want a fact that the artist is well beyond you and has experienced more things than you. It's great to work with an artist who's similarly at your level or maybe just a little bit below your level of experience in the music industry. Most importantly, don't be a gatekeeper. Don't be protective of your industry knowledge. Be generous with your industry knowledge. Speaking of industry knowledge, today's video is sponsored by my friends at Infinite Catalog. And Infinite Catalog is a royalty management software. They're incredible. All of the great indie record labels I know have been using this software. They're a relatively new company, but we've done some interviews with them and I've seen their software and how it works. It basically like ingests all of the revenue that your record label will make from things like Spotify and Sound Exchange and Bandcamp and Big Cartel and live shows. And then it puts everything in clear and beautiful charts, keeps everybody on your team in the loop, and makes sure that artists get paid. It's really simple. Go to infinitecatalog.com to learn more and go to infinitecatalog.com/other record labels to get a demo and a discount. Number 4, record labels provide access to resources. This is the most traditional answer in this video, the most common thing. This is like contacts and industry experts and pressing plants that are good quality and publicists that do a great job and radio promoters that are most effective. Then there's resources like finances. That could be an advance. It could be a small advance or a big advance. It could be the fact that the record label is going to pay for things like vinyl pressing. It could also be industry expert tools, things like online courses or books that you buy everyone on your roster, or things that you make available that you share. It could be tape duplication equipment or sound equipment to use on live tours. It could be a van that you own or a recording studio that you let artists use. Why does this matter? Well, like we talked about before, about bridging the knowledge gap, a lot of indie artists are also lacking tools and finances and just the tiny little things they need to help take them to the next level. A record label can help identify some of those things and then potentially share those things with the artists, almost like a co-op or a collective, less like a big capitalist company that some of the major labels are. You as a record label need to identify what some of these resources are that you have. What is like super specific to you? Is it a recording studio? Is it a pressing plant that you have a great discount at? Maybe there's a book that changed your life as a creative and you've bought 20 copies and you make sure everyone has one. Maybe you buy a great online course about songwriting and you make it accessible to everybody on your label. Maybe you have a list of industry contacts that you think will help the artists. Whatever tools you have, take an inventory and make sure that you are providing that to your artists. It's not just knowledge. It's not just implicit stuff. There are some explicit things that your artists will really benefit getting from you. And finally, the most important, a record label can provide creative inspiration. This is why I think record labels still matter today, is the most intangible thing of all. And really, when you add up all the things we've already talked through, point 1 through 4 equals point 5. Inspiring more creativity. Giving them access to resources inspires more creativity. Bridging that knowledge gap can free them up for more creativity. Giving them access to a community of like-minded artists will inevitably generate more creativity. And the encouragement and validation that you give by signing them and saying, I believe in your music, will inevitably inspire them to be more creative. When their finances are improved, they're more creative. When their mental health is taken care of, they're freer to be more creative. When they know they have a team behind them, they're inspired to be creative. When they have musical peers to be creative with, they'll be more prolific with their creativity. When they're freed up from some of the business administration, they're more available to be creative. Why do record labels matter? Can an artist be successful without a record label? Yes. Can a child be raised without a parent, but still turn into a good person? Yep. Can a team still play and win without a coach? Yes. Today, record labels are not essential for artists, but I believe that an indie artist and an indie record label are stronger when they're together. That's why I think record labels matter. I hope you found this helpful. Hop over to our website, otherrecordlabels.com, where I have thousands of resources for record labels, some free downloads you can grab, like our free guide to starting your own record label. Go to otherrecordlabels.com, have a look around. And a huge shout out to our friends at Infinite Catalog. If you are a record label already and are looking for a super simple solution, no matter the size of your record label, if you're looking for a super simple solution for managing your record label royalties, go to infinitecatalog.com/otherrecordlabels to learn more. Thanks for watching.